wasted years.
As in the intro and the thumbnail that you guys saw, is it a good opportunity to buy Perfect Order or Chaos Rising? Is it an opportunity or is it a trap? So, if you haven't been looking at the Pokemon market, we have seen a unprecedented event that taken place within the last year and a half or year and 7 months of the Pokemon hobby space. Specifically, the market sealed prices, demand, all sorts of things. And if you're new here to the channel, thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Please watch so that you can kind of understand a little bit of what's going on in this market and how you can navigate these markets so that you can actually enjoy and preserve your money in a way. Okay? So, and I'll explain that in a minute. Chaos Rising and Perfect Order are these first two sets that have gone under $200. I believe Pitch Black has gone under $200, but we're not going to talk about Pitch Black today because the second wave has not released yet. And so, in my understanding or my opinion, when the second wave of Perfect Order arrives in between the middle of the 30th and the Mega Rayquaza set, or whenever that lands, the second wave for Pitch Black, I believe the price is going to fall. So I'm not talking about the opportunity in Pitch Black at this moment, but it could be something to worthwhile to keep an eye out. But I'm going to be talking about these mainstream, I guess, news, or maybe something, maybe a take that isn't as, you know, I guess popular in the Pokemon space for now. And that is the Perfect Order and Pitch Black sets. Is it a buy or is it a trap? So, in my perspective, in my opinion, we got to take a look at the Chaos Rising booster box. So Chaos Rising is at 188. If you have, if you want to buy it online, that is up to you. You'll be paying a little bit more for that, and it won't be MSRP. It won't be the MSRP. But if you go on your Facebooks, your card event shows, your trade nights, wherever you may find it, you could possibly negotiate with a vendor or possibly a Facebook seller to get this box around 180. And I did that. So I did buy a box of Chaos Rising for 180. And yeah, that's the cheapest I could find it. Just because the market is a little bit more higher on this set. But in my opinion, I think the set is pretty good. I think it's obviously is not like Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, the older era sets, and its popularity. But I do think that it has a mainline Pokemon. It has Greninja, and so I think it is a popular Pokemon. I do think it has the set is pretty good in a way, especially for these newer sets. And so, but but the market says otherwise, right? Pre-orders were at 250, someone bought it at 280, then it just went straight down from here once we got the second wave of those boxes to the distributors of the local game shops, your big top dogs like I don't know, Nostalgianomics, I don't know, those guys, the whatnot streamers, etc., that they have to offload because, you know, 30th anniversary is coming up, other TCGs, whatever the reason may be, but it has dropped 25% within the last 3 months. And within this month alone, it has dropped 20%. That is a correction. I forgot what a crash is. I think it's at least 30% to be considered a crash, or 25, something around there, but it's a correction. So these boxes have corrected into a territory which, I think this box is in price discovery mode, meaning that the floor is going to be, I guess, the price discovery slash floor, meaning like people are going to, kind of speculate on this, kind of possibly take action and move into the positions for these sets. And so, we do have a lot of volume here. So, you know, is it a right time to buy? Am I saying go out and buy the box right now at 180, you know, just because it's going to go up in the next 2 months? I can't guarantee that. But in my opinion, in my thesis, in my thought process was that it is going to go up. I do think that Chaos Rising specifically is going to go up because it is a little bit more of a more desirable set than Perfect Order, in my opinion. And so, seeing the current box price at 188, 183, these are local game stores. Look at this. This guy, he's selling this at 189.99 or something like that, and he has 178 of those. So he is, selling. And he's at a distro, so he has distribution access. So he's, he has the means to hold or the means of allocating. So if we pull up our trusty calculator, $178 or 178 boxes times 198.98, that is around 35K worth of product at 190, no, yeah, no, 189. No, I did the math wrong. Let's clear that out again. 178 plus, nope. Oh my god, I can't math right now. So 187.98 plus $2. Oh my goodness. See, this is why I think our Gen Z and their intelligence has gone down a lot, including myself. So 178 times that price, it's 33K, guys, 33K. And so if he's selling this, the next price point, right, is at 189. That's a considerable amount. I do think at 180 a piece is a good buy in my opinion. But let's see, 133K, and then TCG takes a cut of like, you know, uh, I would say 0.86%. I've sold things on here, so I kind of understand. 0.86, that's 29 grand. Okay, now he has to ship it out, so it's like $5-6 each. So 29 grand, so 6 times 178, spending around 1,000 and some shipping fees, so shipping costs. So let's say that's still 28 grand right there. 28 grand grow like net after all shipping and fees and stuff. He netted 28 grand. Now, he's a distro, so he's getting these boxes around maybe, let's just say 120. Let's just say 120 a piece. So 28 grand, so 120 times 178. That's still 21,000. 21,000 minus 28,000. So minus 28,000 obviously is going to give us a negative number, but that's 6 grand profit, guys. He's making 6 grand off of the second wave, or maybe a little bit more. So that's to show you guys that that money is there. But in my opinion, I think it's gonna go up. So is it a buy? I do think it's a buy in my opinion. Um, let's see. There isn't no other hobby shops, so my opinion, it's a buy. And if we take a look at the card selection, we do got some pretty nice arts in my opinion. Mega Greninja, the Gold, Chinchino, Mega Dragalge, Floette, AZ, Roxy, Mega Ninja. These are pretty good cards in my opinion, you know? So I do think it's gonna I think it has a good baseline, a good it's a little bit, it's not as weak of a set. It's pretty strong. So Chaos Rising, I do think it's an opportunity. I do think it's an opportunity. I don't think this is a trap. Hopefully not. We'll see. And if you guys want to just, if I want to go piggyback off of somebody or someone else, what's his name? What's that dude's name? Investments, Alpha Investments. he went ahead and bought all these ETBs. He said he bought about 7,000 ETBs, guys, at $50. 7,000 ETBs. Let's say he bought them at 55 bucks each. That man spent around almost $400,000 on perfect order ETBs, regular ETBs. That if Nostalgia, if Alpha Investments is buying it, I'm not saying his opinion is always correct. I don't know, but that's something awesome to think about. So let's go ahead and look at perfect order now. Let's see if this is an opportunity or if it's a trap, in my opinion. So perfect order is selling around 179.69. This one has gone crazy drops, man. Another almost 20%. It would have been a 20% correction at this point, but then it quickly snapped back. I think it snapped back in price because of just how low it was. It's literally MSRP at this point. I think you can go and find somebody on your local Facebook group selling these at 175, 170. I don't know. Maybe you can strike a deal and get it for lower, get it around that price. You can get it at MSRP, guys. I think you can get it around MSRP. I literally messaged someone and they were willing to sell it for 175, which is literally around MSRP. I ordered a booster box off the Pokemon Center and it landed around 174. So yeah, guys, 175. We've reached MSRP for these sets. So some people were liquidating at in the 150s. So that's a really, from a baseline perspective, buying a booster box, it's a pretty good idea. Just because if you were to long term hold this for 15, 20 years, 5, 10 years, it's going to go up. Maybe not as much as the other plays. So that's something you got to think about. It could be in the trap. It could be a trap in the sense of like opportunity cost, but it's still an opportunity at the same time. So I just say it's an opportunity because it's the booster box. And the booster box is the collectible, right? It's the, if you have a pristine box, it's the collectible, right? That's why it has the value it has, even though it's not the best set. All the sets in the previous eras have gone up, even Vivid Voltage, Battle Styles, base sets, you know, that's this type of stuff that happens, even if it's a weak set. So obviously the past isn't a future guarantee, but if it's similar or in the same manner, then just know that this box will go up in time, 5 year time frame, maybe more. So if you bought at MSRP, you are sitting at a basically at a good vantage point in the long term sense. Now, short term, mid term, even 1 to 3 years, you might put your money somewhere else. Uh, I don't see any hobby shops right now, so there's very low sales. So I think this weekend, I think you should be taking advantage if you're wanting to take that route and maybe buy it at 175 from somebody. If they have a clean box, just buy it off them for 175 and hold it in your closet. Now let's take a look at the cards. So this is where, you know, kind of changes a little bit just because Perfect Order is a smaller set. It's a smaller set. It doesn't have as much gunpowder, right? So it's not gonna be a big, it's not gonna be a big bang, you know? So we have the Meowth EX, that's the highest card. I'm not talking trash on the card, but it looks like it looks like a full art, in my opinion, right? Compare this to that, literally like the same thing. Obviously it's an SIR, so I don't know. It's gonna have texturing, it's gonna have colors and stuff like that. It's not gonna look like a full art, but you know what I'm saying? But these other cards, I mean, Mega Clefable's pretty awesome. Zygarde's awesome too. Rosa's Encouragement. These are pretty good cards. But when we get to the lower end, like the lower stuff, it just doesn't hold up. So it's only the top couple of cards, the top chases, the SIRs, that are holding this setup. That's like a very interesting thing. So in my opinion, that's why I'm kind of leaning towards that idea or that opinion of like it depends on where you're at in the Pokemon hobby. Where do you want to be at? Do you want to be a long-term investor, 5, 10, 20 years holding these products? Or, are you thinking the short term, mid-term, maybe 1 year time frame? Maybe I do think in that point you're wanting to put your money somewhere else. So, where does that leave me? I'm not too sure. I say that I want to be a long-term investor, collector, trader, flipper, buy, sell, trade, grade, all the whole shabam. So, it's just interesting being in this hobby for 1.5 years. And so one of my, awesome one of the things that I've learned is like you have to take opportunity, and there's some plays that you have to make in the space in all aspects, right? And holding and buying and selling and all these different things, even grading. So, you know, I remember last year I got my first booster box, which is the Journey Together booster box, and I flipped it. I'm not gonna I'm gonna say it how it is. I basically resold the box and made some profit, right? But now that I'm thinking about it, if I now I have to hold that box. If I held that box, it would have gone up. But now the thing is, it's like if I want that box now, I have to pay the premium for it. I think it's around 260. So, you know, if I have to pay that premium, that's pretty if I pay that premium now versus paying that 10, 4, 5 years down the line, that box could be $500, $600. Who knows? So, that's the type of stuff that you have to think about. You could do the flips, you can do the crazy plays, but long term, it's like you're gonna have to buy back in at a higher price point. And so, you know, now, and the sets keep going, the sets keep coming out, the Pokemon printers are, you know, whatever the case will bring in the future, we don't know yet. So, if we missed out on Scarlet and Violet, we missed out. If we missed out on early Sword and Shield, I remember when I first came to the hobby, you could buy early Sword and Shield sets for like 250. Server Tempest was like 250, 260. Vivid Voltage was still 250. Like the sets weren't climbing as much. It didn't have those big run-ups. But that's if you wanted to buy. So now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, hey, I want to hold these boxes. I want to hold, the mega sets, the mega era block, because I don't know what's gonna happen in the next 5, 10 years. What if, they're gonna go out of print, they're gonna get scarce possibly. So it's a trade-off, I think. And now, I'm still here. I'm still here making YouTube content, and it's pretty cool. So let me know what you guys think. Are you buying Perfect Order and Chaos Rising? Because, you know, I'm not saying I don't. I watch a lot of Poke content, so it's pretty cool to see what the different takes on the hobby, the different plays, and those plays are awesome, right? I'm not gonna bash on people that don't buy this, or like if they say Perfect Order Pitch Black is a bad buy, that's great because I know that there's plays out there that you can make that may give you higher ROIs in a shorter time frame or even in the same amount of time. And that's pretty cool. But like I said, this is like the booster box is like the blue chip stock, you know? It's like the mainline product, right? It's the blue chips, right? The Apple, the Nvidia, you know? So when you buy those boxes, you already have like the niche or the top of the cream of the crop, we could say, in a sense. And then it's less risky and less volatile than these singles, right? Than individual cards, graded cards, you know? That's why I'm just saying, I'm giving this take. I'm basing this opinion from the perspective of like the stock market. That's like instead of investing in these single cards, you invest in the basket. Like the booster box is like the ETF. It's like the S&P 500. Instead of buying these little, these little pieces of stock, right? Instead of buying Gross's Encouragement, Megastormy, hoping that it's gonna go up, which it might not do that, might do that, but the blue chip stocks of singles are the blue chip stocks, are like the Charizards, the Bubble Mew, the you know Charizard SIR, the 151 Charizard, the Mega Greninja from Twilight Masquerade, the Lily's Clefairy, the Victini Zekrom Black White Rarity from Black Bull White Flare. Those are the big blue chips when you invest in singles. But this is like a safer basket. So, like I said, if you enjoy the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and I guess I'll show you guys maybe the booster box that I got. I don't know if I want to be showing this my products, but just know that I did buy Chaos Rising. Will you buy Chaos Rising? That's up to you, whatever you want to decide. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace.